Hello, good afternoon.
Good,
Good afternoon. ओके मैं आपको एक लिंक भेजता हूँ. जस्ट चेक वेदर इट इज वर्किंग. ये लिंक वर्क हो रहा है क्या?
देख रहा हूँ सर। कहाँ पे है सर लिंक? शो नहीं
चैट
कर रहा।
चैट में.
अच्छा यहाँ पे, ओके ओके। Working sir, we are live.
वी आर लाइव.
Live sir, we are.
गुड आफ्टरनून. ठीक है, आई थिंक इट्स वर्किंग ऑन. लेट्स सी हाउ दैट विल लुक आफ्टर द क्लास. Actually, there is a software I told you about, no, this OBS software. We can do live streaming using this software. So basically we need to generate stream key from the YouTube, then copy paste that particular stream key in here in the OBS studio. So basically whatever I am going to operate in my laptop, so that will be visible in a YouTube live stream based on the stream key what I have linked here. So this is the intermediate software which is basically acting as a connection between YouTube and our computer. So I just wanted to see if buffering, if there is no buffering, and if it is a smooth live stream, then we can keep using this, or else we can do normal screen recording like how we did before. Are you all able to listen my voice?
Able to hear sir.
Okay, done. So okay, yes. So let's continue with our topic. What did we discuss yesterday? What are the topics we discussed yesterday? If you remember, just I'll give you 1 minute. Don't text there. You can answer if you remember the topics or you want to answer, because I won't be able to see the texts there. I cannot go back to from the slideshow view. I think I discussed about three tier architecture of data warehousing. Then some of the schemas which we call it as a data models. There are three types I was discussing: star schema, snowflake schema, and galaxy schema, right? uh, Apart from that, what did we discuss? Yeah. So again, what are the steps involved in data warehousing process we discussed, right? So today we will continue with that. And just to revise, I was using some of the terminologies yesterday: fact, dimension, attributes, right? So what is a fact? Facts are the measurements or the metrics from your business process, right? For a sales business process, a measurement would be quarterly sales number, or you can say number of items sold in that particular quarter, or how many particular year. So those are called as facts. Then dimension provides the context surrounding a business process event. So in simple term, dimensions are nothing but who, what, where of the facts, right? So you know what are the facts, but who provided those facts, what type of facts you have, and where exactly you got that data from. So those are called as dimensions. So example I have given here: in the sales business process, for the fact quarterly sales number, dimensions would be who, where, what. So dimensions are customer names, that is who. Then location is nothing but where. Then what means which product. So based on product ID, we can calculate number of, you know sales in that particular quarter or in that particular year. Is willing to join, I think. Okay. Right. So similarly, I use the terminology called as attributes. What are the attributes? Attributes are the various characteristics of the dimension. So dimensions. Then again, these customer names have their independent attributes. So what could be the attributes of customer name? So you can say the state of the customer, the ID of the customer, gender of the customer, right? So those could be the attributes of the dimension customer. Similarly, for location attribute, sorry, the location dimension, what could be the attributes? The state, the country, the zip code. So similarly, for product, what could be the attributes? Product ID, product name, then product number. Then what is that? You can give another example. uh, right, QR code you can give. That is also one of the attribute of the product. So you can consider all such examples as attributes. So dimension tables contain attributes. So these are some of the terminologies which we used in those multidimensional schema models: facts, dimensions, attributes, right? Then dimension tables, at least one or two attributes it should be containing. Right. So moving on, what is fact table? What is dimension table? I have listed out here. So a fact table is a primary table in a dimension table. Okay. So a fact table contains what? It contains measurements, facts, then foreign key to the dimension table. So yesterday I showed you in the diagram, right? So this is a particular fact table here. So which the name of the fact table is product. So what is the foreign key it is containing? So it is containing the foreign key of this particular table, right? So which is nothing but product ID. Again here it is containing the uh, you know another dimension from this particular dimension table, right? Variant ID. So basically, what does it contain? Fact table, it contains foreign key from the different dimension tables. So moving on to the dimension table. So dimension table contains dimensions of the facts, right? They are joined to the fact table via foreign key. So similarly, what I explained here. Then dimensions tables are denormalized tables. So again, this point is you need to focus on. Dimension tables are denormalized tables, means you are dividing a number of dimensions into different dimensions, so that you can analyze them in detail, right? So dimension tables are denormalized here. Then dimension attributes are the various columns in the dimension table. So again, I showed you that flat relational database model, where we represent the data in the terms of rows and columns. So these columns indicates nothing but attributes. So for example, for student name, what could be the attributes? Student marks, then student gender, then per total percentage. So those can be considered as a what? Attributes. Then dimensions offers descriptive characteristics of the fact with the help of their attributes. So again, so all these basics we discussed yesterday, I've just put in terms of points here so that you can refer it while studying later on. Yeah, so I was again discussing about ETL process. I think I just discussed about this particular diagram. So what is ETL? Extract, transform, and load. So what does it do? It transforms the data by applying various operations like calculations, concatenations, and finally loads the data into the data warehouse system. Okay, so the data can come from various sources like Oracle, SQL Server, Teradata, then flat relational databases. So it is combining all of them, then finally it is storing them into the data warehouse. So what is the process that is happening in the staging area that we need to learn? Okay, now there are three steps in ETL process: extraction, transformation, and loading. So we need to learn three steps in detail. So what does the first step do? So the data is extracted from the source system into the staging area. So what happens in the staging area? Transformations happen. So transformations, if any, are done in the staging area so that the performance of the source system is not degraded. Then staging area gives an opportunity to validate extracted data before it verifying the data which you are loading from some heterogeneous databases across the several databases which are available. So you are verifying the record with whether it is matching with the source data, and you are making sure that there is no spam data, unwanted data that is getting loaded into the data warehouse. Then you are checking the data types of separate individual data. Then you are removing all types of duplicate data and fragmented data. I think I have given example for this also, fragmented data. Then whether all the keys are in place or not, that is the mapping of foreign key to the primary key, right? So whether all of them are in place with the individual dimension tables or not. So you are doing all these validations in the extraction phase. The second step was transformation phase. Data extracted from the source server is raw and not usable in its original form. Therefore, it needs to be cleansed, mapped, and transformed. So basically, we are getting raw data from heterogeneous databases. So we need to clean that data. Okay, then map and transform it so that it is stored in the data warehouse system in one uniformal way. So in fact, this is the key step where ETL process adds value, change the data such that insightful BI reports can be generated. So basically in this step, you are adding some of the extra values to the existing values. Then if any ill data is there, that data you're particularly changing it, right? Then you also apply some of the functions on extracted data. So that is the data that does not require any transformation is called a direct move or pass through data. So if it is in the right format, you need not to alter that data, so you can directly load into the data warehouse system. So in transformation step, you can also perform customized operations on the data. For example, if the user wants sum of sales revenue which is not in the database, so right, in that original database, if this particular value is not there, that is sum of sales revenue, basically the sales revenue might be there for individual product, but overall sum of sales for that particular organization might not be available in the individual databases. So you can perform such calculations, then that data you can store it into the database. So or if the first name and the last name in the table is in different columns, it is possible to concatenate them before loading. So right, you when you apply some for some application, or when you do online shopping and all, you give this first name and last name, right? So if those column values are located in the different places, so you can aggregate them, that is you can concatenate them and store them at the one place. So all such operations are done in the transformation phase. Okay. What kind of data integrity problems are addressed in the transformation phase? So I have listed out here. So different spelling of the same person like John and John, etc., right? So here what happens is the person is same only, his name is John, but by mistake you have mistyped that person name by missing out one of the alphabet. So such kind of errors are taken care in the transformation phase. So different spelling of the same person so need to be avoided. Then there are multiple ways to denote company name like Google, comma Google Inc. So you need to, as I told, you need to maintain the uniformal way of storing the data into the database, I mean data warehouse system. So you need to maintain all such possibilities, and you should be taking care of such variances. So again, you should be maintaining one particular name, either you can use Google or Google Inc. Then use a different names like Bangalore and Bengaluru. So again here the location is same only, but the way you are storing into the database is different. So this is very important, right? you cannot have different values stored for the same type of data, right? So it should be unilaterally it should be maintained. So you are taking care of such kind of errors also. Then there may be a case that different account numbers are generated by various applications for the same customer. So again, this particular errors also are taken care in the transformation phase. Then in some data, required fields remain blank, right? So some of the blanks or column value, I mean some of the column values of that particular attribute might be blank. So you will fill some aggregated value there or average value there. So the missing values are also taken care in this step. Then invalid product collected at POS as manual entry can lead to the mistakes, right? So invalid product collected at POS means point of sales. So you go, right, when you go to Big Bazaar or somewhere, you just scan that product and that product details will be automatically taken care. It will show you what is that no cost of that particular product, or if there is any offer on that product. Or if it is not able to scan, what does the user do? He will manually entry that product name, and he will further proceed your transaction. So while doing that, what happens, you might end up entering some random, I mean wrong value for that particular product. So such kind of errors also will be taken care in the transformation phase. Then what are the kinds of validations are done during this particular transformation stage? Filtering. So what is filtering? Selecting only certain columns to load. Can anyone give me example why this particular step can also be taken care in this transformation phase? So is there any possibility to skip some of the columns from the database? Can you give any such example? Only when we feel that okay, that particular column value is not needed for analysis purpose. Can you give any such example? Am I audible? Yes. So what is that filtering I was talking about? This particular column to load. Can anyone answer? Quick.
You said something, sir.
Yeah. Not audible.
Anshu has that's it.
Right.
So we can filter out the column which are
Redundant
not more
columns
needed.
जिनका ज़रूरत नहीं है, like date of birth and year, sir. Yeah. So yeah, that is one example. But in some cases you might require date of birth, right? I can give you, suppose, see, in some cases where it asks for your parents detail, father's name, mother's name, right? Or it will ask you their occupation. So I think such kind of data is not needed for analysis, right? It only requires the customer who is actually purchasing an item, right? It doesn't require the in detail knowledge of that particular customer. So it only requires about him, right, or her, basically what kind of item is purchasing, or what is that age group of that particular person, right? So you can ignore such kind of extra columns where it is asking for the family details or occupation, right? That thing doesn't matter, right? Such columns can be filtered out in the data warehouse. Okay. Then the second one says character set conversion. Again, I want to ask you people, what do you mean by character set conversion? Character set conversion and encoding handling are done in the transformation phase. Again, this is a very important step. It has to be taken care. uh, I want you people to tell me, because you might have studied this character set conversion in your second or third semester, I think. where you studied this one, no, data. What is that? What is the subject? Encoding subject. What do you mean by character set conversion? Yeah, answered. Data compression, yes. I think, yeah, in data compression you are having this kind of techniques, encoding techniques, lossless compression, lossy compression, right? I think even in data structure, in one of the topic I explained this Huffman encoding. If you people remember, I taught you in data structure Huffman encoding, where we compress the data, right? So basically character set conversion is nothing but converting from one particular format of the character into another format. So what are the character formats which the computers or the desktops uses? So basically ASCII, you know, right? ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Exchange. That is one type of character set. Do you know any other character set? What is the character set format this websites or web pages uses? Exactly, yeah. UTF. What is the full form of UTF? What is the full form of UTF? Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Unicode transformation.
Yeah, Unicode transformation, right? So you in your web pages you actually use a Unicode format, right? You might have observed in the very first page of uh, your web page, you see that particular line, right? So I think Nitin sir has joined to our class. I want every one of you to say hi to him. Nitin sir,
Sir, hello, sir.
welcome, sir.
Hope
Welcome.
the class is going on well.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for
So
joining,
glad
and
to, be a part of your class.
thank you for
Yeah,
joining. Actually,
yeah, I can see
sir wanted
Vivek,
to join our
Subodh,
class,
and
and just
Sudhanshu.
sir is in charge of monitoring all the classes. So I just told him to start with me. So he's accepted that thing, and he just joined our class. I want uh, other people to just interact with sir. If you have anything to ask, or sir, you have anything to ask to my
So
students, you
they
can
have
ask.
actually messaged in the chat box.
Yes,
No,
yes,
they have messaged me in the chat box.
sir. Actually, there will be a lot
Yeah,
of noise.
so it's okay, sir.
There will be a lot of noise. So normally, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the questions I ask, they reply in the chat box. Because of the noise,
No,
they,
no, even I prefer the same thing, sir.
yeah. So like they are very interactive.
Hmm.
Sudhanshu has asked
Okay,
you some
okay,
questions, sir.
okay.
You can answer him.
That the question is out of syllabus.
Yeah. So having offline classes is not less than
So
dream now.
there's no news about it as of now.
Yeah.
There's no news about the
But sir, I
offline
heard
classes as
that
of now.
Karnataka government
So
is about to start on October 15th onward something.
I mean, I'm not really sure, but
Mm-hmm.
we will be following only the UGC guidelines, sir. Only once UGC gives us any permission or any instruction in that manner,
Okay.
then we will be doing it like that. Hmm.
Sir, I have pasted one link there, the chat box,
Mhm.
so that you can watch
Okay.
even not even in the joining the Meet, Google Meet. So you can watch it indirectly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like you will not
Okay, sir. Okay.
we will not
Hmm?
come to know that whether you are watching it or not, or you will not come to know that basically
Okay.
whether
Okay.
you joined or not. So it's like indirect monitoring.
Hmm. Correct. Correct. Yes. So thank you for giving me that option. But anyway, I'm comfortable with this, and
Yes,
I'll be a
yes,
part of your class for another 5 minutes, not more, and
yes, yes, yes.
probably
Okay,
again in the future also. Okay.
sure, sure, sure.
Okay, sir. You please carry on. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
boys, I was talking about what is character set conversion, right? So basically you are suppose in your database you have used ASCII character set format, but in the data warehouse it might be using UTF format. So obviously you need to convert that ASCII format to UTF format, right? So that character set conversion process is happening in the this particular transformation phase. So like conversion of units of measurements like date time conversion, currency conversion, numerical conversion. So again there are a lot of formats to store the date and time, right? You can follow month, year, or month, then date, then year you can do, or you can follow year, month and date. So there might be different formats used by the several databases, so you are aggregating them into one particular format and then you are storing that values into
And
database.
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, like 12-hour format, 24-hour format for
Ah,
date
exactly,
time.
exactly. Yes, yes. That is time conversion. So in time conversion, is basically 24 format option will be there. 12-hour format option will be there. So basically, the concept of data warehouse is whatever the data you are storing, the final data which you are storing in the data warehouse, it has to follow one particular method. So one particular rules for storing the data, so you cannot follow different methods. Then the data threshold validation check. So again, what do you mean by data threshold validation check? For example, age cannot be more than 2 digits, so this condition has to be preset in the data warehouse, right? Obviously age value cannot be more than 2 digits. Yeah, nowadays it is not possible to go beyond 100, but normally in the data warehouse you can set this particular condition. You can set a limit for storing age data up to 2 digits. Then there is a cleaning process can also happen. So what do you mean by cleaning? For example, mapping null to 0 or gender male to m and female to f, right? So I think if you are understanding, so mapping null to 0 means so in some database they might have used the keyword null, so it is again requires 4 characters to store, right? So instead that you can replace that null to 0. Then instead of storing gender value as male, you can just store m. Similarly for female you can store f. So such kind of cleaning process also happens in the transformation phase. Then split a column into multiples and merging multiple columns into a single column. So I have told this already. If there is a first name and last name, two separate columns are there for one particular customer, you can combine them and to store into a single column. Then transposing rows and columns, right? What do you mean by transposing? Shifting column values into row values and the row values into column values. So based on your convenience, you can, as per your requirement or analysis, you can transpose those rows and column values, so that these all process are under transformation basically. So moving on to the next concept. Right. The last step is basically loading. Once all this process happens, the step three is basically extraction, transform, load. Right. So final thing which we'll be doing in the ETL process is loading the all this converted, transformed data into the data warehouse in the one particular unilateral format. Okay. So moving on to the next concept, we have OLAP. I think I've already discussed about difference between OLAP and OLTP briefly when I was introducing about data warehouse concept, right? So what is the need of OLAP? You need to understand what are the kind of techniques we will be learning here. We need to understand, and why it is important for business intelligence. OLAP techniques, OLAP models, we need to know. So what is again difference between the relational database approach and multidimensional database approach, we will come to know using OLAP operations. So what is OLAP? Basically it is a category of software that allows users to analyze information from multiple database systems at the same time. So right, so you can collect the data from various databases at the same time and analyze them, right? So OLAP databases are divided into one or more cubes. So we have a concept called as cube. So all these things we will be implementing practically using related tools or softwares. So before that I want you to know these theoretical concepts, and we can implement them through the softwares later on. So what is cube? The cubes are designed in such a way that creating and viewing reports becomes easy. So this is one of the OLAP cube. I think you people can understand by looking it into the cube. Can you find out what is the difference between your relational database model and this particular OLAP cube? What is going on here? I have given all the example here, right? There are some dimensions, facts, and some values stored. So basically, by looking into this particular queue, what you can understand, is it a relational database approach or multidimensional database approach? Yeah.
So multi-dimensional is
Yes, multidimensional, right? So why it is multidimensional? So unlike in your relational database where we store the values based on rows and columns at all, right? Not more than that. So we are just use student name, then the related columns for that particular student name, like what is the student marks, student gender, then student ID, then overall percentage. So that is called as a relational database approach, where we just create a matrix of rows and columns to store the data values. But here what is happening, there might be more than one fact for one particular dimension. So in that case, we need to go for multi-dimensional approach. So here what is happening, there are three facts. Okay, basically this particular PC book shoe category, I mean clothes, this comes under product category, which you can call it as a product fact. Then Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, these are nothing but quarters, that is one more fact. Then the territory, where US Australia is written here, you can have another two values which if you want. So US Australia, for example India and Canada, so this is another fact table. So basically how many fact tables are there? Three fact tables are there. So now you want to store the data based on all three values, right? So that means for example, for this, what is the first category? We have product category, PC is there. Now I want to store the data for PC based on quarter, based on the territory, right? So it is not just one particular row and one particular column. So this PC value depends on what? Two more values, that is quarter value and the territory value, right? So this is one particular example. So we will understand how to store individual values separately in this particular data cube, I mean OLAP cube. So this is one example they have given, no? So what exactly here it is? So you have a book value, then the quarter, basically the second quarter of that particular year, then what is the sale value of the book, and what is the territory. So how will you come to know the territory? Based on this particular way. So I will mark here. See, for example, US Australia is there, no? So assume that this particular territory is Australia. So you will map like this. So now we will come at the aggregated value. So for the particular book, the total sales value is some $21,000. Then the quarter is second quarter of that particular year. So like that you are storing different data for one particular fact. So for book you are storing two particular you know based on two particular facts, that is quarters also and the territory also. So like that you can map n number of values to the n number of facts at the same time, right? That is the advantage of multidimensional data model. So I have yeah, in order to make this concept even more understandable, I have taken 2D view of the sales data, right? This is 2D view. So see the location Vancouver, then there are certain items, then the time quarter. So I have given attributes as home, entertainment, computer, phones, and security. So these are four attributes for this particular item fact. Then the quarters are mentioned here. Then these are the sale values for those particular individual items. So in the first particular quarter, home entertainment has registered 605 value based on the location Vancouver. So this is basically 2D dimensional model. So you see how much computation you need to do. You need to create lot of columns, rows, and you need to divide them separately. Then again you need to combine these two particular rows into one particular set of values, right? Again you have to divide them into four columns separately. So it requires a lot of processing if you want to store the data into the database using 2D view. So it requires a lot of manual work there. Now coming to the 3D view, again this particular 3D view is not lab queue, but it is just a 3D view of the sales data if you are doing it manually by yourself. So how many values you need to store? See, based on location, Chicago, New York, and Toronto, we have independent items. Again, time quarter, entertainment, computers, phone, and security. Similarly, time for particular location New York, what are the sales registered for those individual items? Similarly for Toronto, what are the sales registered for those individual items? So this is again 3D view of sales data if you are doing it manually. Now all these things you can try to compute using one particular model, that is OLAP cube. Now observe this, and I want you people to explain me what is going on and how the data values are stored. So I will show you this table also, in this table also. So where are the values located, you can cross examine. So what are these values? 854, 882, 89 and 63. So where are these values coming from? Based on this particular table, I want you people to explain. Just cross examine this table and this table.
स्कूल पे जाइए क्या?
Yeah. So just remember, you take one example. Okay, you take for example Chicago, you take, then take time quarter as Q1. So now come to this particular diagram, PD data cube, that is OLAP data cube. Where are the values stored here? Observe. Yeah,
शिकागो
yeah. This is basically Chicago here, right? The location. Then 854. If you come down here, 854 indicates values for what type of item? Home entertainment. Okay, you should be looking like this way, right? Similarly, for computer, compare here. So what is the computer sales value for the time quarter Q1 at the location Chicago? What is the value? 882. Now come here. So time quarter Q1 is time quarter, you know, Q1 again. This is time quarter
Yes,
Q1.
sir.
This is 882. Then 89 for phone. Then 623 for security, right? This is for the first one, Chicago. Now see for another example based on these two locations. I will ask you, okay, where are these values coming from? You can see my cursor, laser cursor here. I'm marking out here. I want you people to tell me what are the corresponding attribute values for these 698, 789 and 870. Why each one of you tell me one value. So Vivek, tell me which value does 870 represents?
सर टेबल पर चलिए सर फोर्थ सो क्यू फोर का है आई मीन फोर्थ रो
Hmm.
एंड द टेबल इज एक बार वापस चाहिए सर
Hmm.
870 राइट सर
Okay.
शिकागो
So
फोर्थ
my question is why it is appearing here? Why it is appearing at the downside? I mean this side.
So is it because it is in the time quarter of Q4?
Exactly. Oh, I mean, I thought, sir, I thought you were exited already. Vivek, why?
No, no, your class is interesting. I'm watching.
Okay, okay. I thought Vivek का voice ऐसे क्यों हो गया? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is basically, this is front view. Okay. It is just like that dice.
Mhm.
We have that dice, no, where the kids play.
Correct. Yes, yes.
Like they'll match,
Yeah.
individual colors and all. So it is just like that, sir. So
The Rubik's the
Rubik's
Rubik's cube. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it is just like Rubik's cube. So
Yes.
all the data will be stored in that
Okay.
one particular Rubik's cube only. So when you rotate that particular cube based on
Okay.
your
Okay.
axis, x-axis, y-axis, you will get different values.
Okay.
So it is very very feasible to maintain the data at the one place. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So similarly,
Very interesting.
yeah, yeah. So similarly, 682 is there.
Mm.
Yeah. So 682, anyone else can answer? I think sir has answered properly. I don't want to ask him again. 682, anyone?
Yes, sir. Location is Toronto and
Yes,
what is SEC?
yes. So basically, yeah, see, here 682 is here. Time
Security.
quarter Q2,
Security.
time quarter Q2 में है. So obviously, it has to be under Toronto column. So in this way, you can store, the two-dimensional data into 3D data cube at one place instead of manually doing all this process. So it is very tedious one, no? So we need not to do manual calculations like this. All we need to do is feed these data values into the data cube. So it will take care itself by adjusting those axes, x-axis, y-axis. By modifying those axes, you'll be able to find the data based on these three particular attributes, that is quarter, then item and location. So again, this data cube we will be implementing using business intelligence software tools, like I told you about Visual Studio, and there are few more softwares which I'm actually trying to install. So I will show you practically how to do this using tools. Okay, so I hope all of you understood this concept. Again, one more question I will ask you people. uh, in the front view you are getting these values, right? 605, 825, 14, 400. Are these value existing in this particular table? Just check it out.
No, sir.
No, right? So what do you understand? Where are these values coming from? So I wanted to tell you one thing. Here I've only taken four values, right? As an example. So actually this table is very big. I have only taken four values. So those four values you are seeing here. So this particular, the front values which you are seeing, this is nothing but the last row of that particular, table. This particular table, the last row. So in the front view you will be seeing the last column data actually. So here the value start from this particular last column of your cube, right? And here the front column what you are seeing, this indicates the last column of your two-dimensional table. So these values, if you cross verify with this table, you won't able to find there. So again, when you are studying, don't get confused here. So here I have mentioned all the values separately. So you can take these three values from Chicago, New York and Toronto and match with these three values. Okay. So one more example I have taken here. So see, right, here you are only seeing these three values, right? This in this diagram you can see, uh, if you want this particular data, how to access, you got it right. Gross revenue in the year 2015 April for the product, right? Suppose if you want for the product accessories, then gross revenue, it will be this one, right? So if you want the gross revenue for the bikes, okay, for the bikes, which column you will be referring? This second column, I mean the second row, right? Here you will be going in detail. So again, I will ask you, tell me what is the net revenue for clothing in the year 2015 Feb. I want you people to point out here which value I'll be referring. Are you getting my question?
2015,
Tell me the net
2015,
revenue. Tell me the net revenue for clothing in the year 2015 Feb. So tell me where exactly I need to mark my laser point here. Where exactly I need to mark?
Sir, the
third row,
orange one.
Yeah,
third row, sir.
yeah,
सर ऑरेंज वन के नीचे सर नो सर उधर
So
yeah.
behind the green one,
Behind the
यस
green
सर
one,
Exactly,
and
in the
exactly.
behind the
third row.
green one, the
Third
bottom
row, third
portion
row.
of it.
Absolutely right, sir.
यस सर
Absolutely right. So behind the green one,
यस
right, this particular column, so which indicates the time frame 2015, right? So net revenue for clothing in the year 2015 value. So net revenue means this particular column I should be seeing. Then I have mentioned the brand as clothing. So here, so congestion of this particular column and this particular row will be your value. Are you getting my point? So from here, which value will be there? I mean the second value. So if you go from here inside, so and if you come from top here, so the second value will be the congested value there, which will give you the net revenue for clothing in the year 2015. I think others also, I hope, understood this concept. You have any doubt?
Sir,
Yeah. So let me give
Oh,
you
sir.
one more question so that you
doubt,
will
sir.
understand 100%. I want anyone of you want to answer this. Tell me the average sales price for the components in the year 2015 April.
So last second, uh,
Average sales price for the
I
components
can see
in the year 2015 April.
in last row, sir.
Yeah, last row.
Last row,
Yeah,
fourth one. Yes.
Yes,
fourth
sir.
one.
That one.
Exactly. So this one I should be referring, right? I'm marking my laser point here. Is it the right value?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you understood, right? What is this particular data cube? Any doubt you have?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the next concept is again very interesting. Nitin sir is there, huh?
No, sir. He left.
Okay, okay. So the next one I'll be discussing about is OLAP operations. Okay. So here you just saw how the data is stored. Now, what kind of operations you can perform on this particular data cube we are learning. Okay. That we call it as a OLAP operations. So four types of OLAP operations we have. Okay. So roll up, drill down, slice and dice, pivot. Okay. What are they? Roll up, drill down, slice and dice, and pivot. So we will see with an examples for each of such four operations. So looking into the first one, roll up. So what it consolidation or aggregation. So the roll up operation can be performed by reducing dimensions or climbing up the concept hierarchy. Concept hierarchy is a system of grouping things based on their order of level. So some definitions they have given. I want you people to ask me what you are understanding from this particular operation. It is called as consolidation and aggregation. So by using these two terminologies, you need to be you might have understood already, right? So aggregation, I think again I have already discussed about aggregation. What is aggregation? It is a concept of grouping things based on their order or level. It is mentioned there. Okay. So again, by reducing the dimensions or climbing up the concept hierarchy, that is also one of the options they have mentioned. What do you mean by reducing dimensions? So Sudhanshu has given one example, right? Removing date of birth and year. Then I gave one more example, like removing the details of your family members, right? And what is that job you are doing. All such extra data which is not needed, you can delete from the database, right? So that is called as an aggregation. So how it is performed? By reducing the dimensions. So we will see that with an example. Okay. Now look at this particular diagram. We are doing the roll up operation in this diagram. So you might have already got it by seeing the diagram. So any one of you look into the diagram carefully and explain me what is actually going on in this particular roll up operation.
सर सिटीज को सर कंट्री में चेंज कर रहा है
Yeah, is it right, others?
सर सिटीज को कंट्री में चेंज
Yes, yes, yes.
Also,
Somebody joined, huh? Okay, right. Okay, so in this particular diagram we are doing roll up operations. So as Subodh rightly said, you are converting these. So again, when you are doing analysis, all that you need is overall sales data, right? How much sales have been performed right? Then you try to collect it from city wise, then you can combine them into country wise. So that is why you can basically reduce the dimensions, so that you need not to look into the n number of columns for analyzing part, right? So here the example I have taken, four cities are there: Chicago, New York, Toronto and Vancouver, and some of the values are mentioned here: 440 and 1560. So here roll up on location from cities to country. So the final values are mentioned here. So I have used the another dimension called as USA and Canada. So what is the value stored in the USA dimension? 2000. So how we are getting this value? By combining cities value into the country value as USA. So you are combining Chicago and New York. These are the cities in the USA, right? So you are combining the data values of this particular column, right? 1560 and 440. So if you combine them, you will get 2000 as the answer. So this is called as the roll up operation. And again, you see, you had before four dimensions for locations. Now you have only two dimensions. So that is what it called as a dimensionality reduction. So reducing dimensions is the one thing which we call it as a concept hierarchy. Basically you are moving into higher level concept based on the individual sub level concepts, right? So cities is basically the lower level concept, and the countries is a higher level concept. So that is called as a roll up operation. Then the second one is drill down. So drill down operation is also called as a roll down. So again, you can understand it is an exactly reverse of roll up operation, right? So drill down is like zooming in onto the data cube, right? So basically you want to look into in detail values of the database, right? So in that case you can perform drill down operation. So it navigates from less detailed record to the more detailed data. The drill down can be performed by either stepping down a concept hierarchy for a dimension or adding the additional dimensions. So stepping down means again you can convert from countries to cities, or if you want to add one more level dimension to that, right? So you can add cities. For cities, can you add another dimension? What kind of dimensions you can add for cities?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pin code.
pin code. Yes. No, pin code itself will be there in the city's dimension. I mean that attribute of basically I told you, right, what is dimension, what is attribute, what is fact. So dimension is city means obviously uska attribute kya hoga? Pin code hi hoga. So you cannot add pin code as an extra dimension. Dimension is nothing but it should have its own attributes. So if you add pin code as a
तो
dimension,
cities का
yeah.
जैसे कि smaller towns और village.
Yeah, exactly. So cities you can convert into village or taluk level places, right? So suppose if you consider Bangalore city, so you can divide that into a number of values based on some of the centralized locations in the Bangalore. You can divide into a number of values. So like that you can add additional dimensions. Okay. Okay. So see this example. Again, you have drilled down on the time quadrant, right? So see this example here. I've used time quarter. So here you had Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 as the time quarters in that particular year. So that time quarter is divided into n number of months. So drill down on the time quadrant from quarters to month. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happened here? How this value 400 is splitted? Can anyone tell me? Security is the component,
सर
time quantum is
तीन
400,
पार्ट में डिवाइड.
right? Yeah, तीन पार्ट में डिवाइड हुआ है.
सर
So jar,
Q1 को डिवाइड.
right? So are you able to understand what why we are doing this? Basically drill down operation, as said in the definition, it allows you to zoom into the database and get the in detailed knowledge of that particular value, right? So time quadrant में क्या है? 400 है, right? But you don't know this 400 is basically how you got this 400 as the to overall sales value for the security components in the time quadrant Q1. So you want to analyze in detail, so you have drilled down that based on the time quadrant. Then January, February, March, May, you are actually looking into the more detailed analysis. So what is that sales happened in the January, 150, then Feb, May 100, then March, May 150. So if you combine that, you will get the time quadrant Q1, that is 400. So you are basically analyzing the data in detail using the drill down operations, right? Any doubts?
सर इसको roll करेंगे
Your voice is breaking, Subodh.
सर सर इसी को अगर रोल अप करते हैं तो हमको Q1 Q2 Q3 Q4 मिल जाएगा.
Yeah. Now moving on to the next one, slice and dice. Okay, so in slice, what happens, one dimension is selected and a new subcube is created. Okay, dice operation is similar to slice. The difference is that in dice you need to select two or more dimensions that result in the creation of a subcube. Can any one of you tell me, before I show you the diagram, what is happening in the third operation? Read the definition carefully. Nice music at the background.
सर एक नया क्यूब बनाया जा रहा है सर, कुछ दो डायमेंशन को उठा के, या
Exactly.
एक या दो डायमेंशन को उठा के नया क्यूब बना रहे हैं, सब क्यूब.
So difference क्या है slice and dice में?
सर डाइस में है कि यू सेलेक्ट टू और मोर डायमेंशन,
Yeah,
और स्लाइस में है
you are selecting only one dimension.
वन डायमेंशन.
Yes.
वन डायमेंशन.
Correct. So in slice operation, you are only picking up one dimension and creating a subcube, but in dice you need to select at least two dimensions, right? So I will show you that example. Yeah, look into this diagram and observe how the slice operation works. So basically you are creating a new cube from the existing cube, right? This is a existing cube out of which you have created a new cube based on slice operation. So what is that query you have given? Slice for time Q1. So Q1 is a basically dimension, right? So you are basically slicing the cube based on the time quadrant Q1, right? Q1 means this particular values. Again, these values are nothing but the location of Vancouver, right? So 605, 825, 14 and 400. So basically you are just picking up time quadrant 1 ka value you are picking up, right? You don't want entire time quadrant ka analysis. You just want to analyze for the time quadrant Q1. So you do the slice operation. Now this is dice operation. As I said, you need to pick one or more dimensions, that is minimum two dimensions you need to pick here. So can you people understand what happened here?
Yes.
So you are dicing for the location Toronto or Vancouver and at time quadrant Q1 or Q2 and item mobile or modem, right? So for each fact tables you are picking only two dimensions, right? So for example, for location we have only picked Toronto and Vancouver cities. Then for time quadrant you have picked only Q1 and Q2, and similarly item which you have picked is mobile and modem. So remaining things you don't want to analyze. So you are picking only two facts from individual dimension tables, right? So here based on that dice operation you are getting this subcube again. So you are getting the answer as time quantum Q1 for Vancouver City. For mobile item, what is the sales you have got? 605. Similarly for Toronto, 395. So these are called as, you know, dice operations basically. And what was the last one? Pivot. Last one is pivot. So what is pivot? The pivot operation is also called a rotation. It is a visualization operation which rotates the data axis in a view to provide an alternative presentation of the data. It may contain swapping of the rows or columns or moving one of the row dimensions into column dimensions. So by the definition you might have understood it already. We are doing some rotation operation here, that is shifting x-axis to y-axis or rows into columns or columns into rows. Okay, so this is your pivot operation. Again, just look into the table and tell me what happened.
सर मोबाइल वाले डायमेंशन को स्वैप करके ऊपर ले आया है और लोकेशन को नीचे ले आया है.
Right, and again one more thing you need to observe. The pivot is operation is performed on what fact, I mean what dimension you can say. Is it performed on time quadrum, or is it performed on location, or is it performed on individual items? So pivot operation is basically performed on what dimension I am asking. So you are seeing, right, this is your existing table, right, which you have as a reference. So you are applying pivot operations onto this particular table. So my question is, on what dimension you have applied the pivot operation? Is it location, is it item, or is it time quadrant? Obviously there is no time quadrant value here,
आइटम टाइप.
so it cannot be time
आइटम
quadrant.
टाइप सर.
Yes, so it is based on item types. So mobiles ka sale 605, modem ka sales 825, phone ka sales 414, and security of 400. So if you have altered this particular row into column, right? So this again, see, the mobile has come into this here, modem, phone, and security. So row has been shifted into this column. Then individual values you have stored: mobile, modem, phone, and security, 605, 825, 14, 400. Basically this is just for alternative representation of your data cube, so that you want to concentrate on certain things. You can do it by altering the way in which you see the cube, right? So this is not that necessary, but in certain cases where you have a huge data values and analyze based on certain items or certain facts, so you can just rotate the data cube and look into the data which you actually are interested in. So that is pivot operation. Okay, so all these are called as what, OLAP operations. So yeah, so we will be implementing them again based on certain tools. My job is to first convey you theoretically how this process or the operations happen. Then later on we can just build them using tools. Okay, yes. So remaining things I will continue in the upcoming class.